Hey, it's Aaron from AaronOnAutos.com, and today we're going to do our shaky cam walkthrough in a 2020 Nissan Pathfinder. So this is in the Rock Creek edition, but there are, of course, several options for this. This is a Nissan's 3-row midsize, so you have to go up to an Armada to get bigger than this. So basically it's the largest crossover they make. Very well done vehicle. There are some ups and downs to it, but it's mostly going to be a matter of preference. So I'm just going to walk through it. It is similar to a lot of the Nissans I've been in. So a lot of this will look familiar if you have watched my videos or have spent time in Nissan recently. But still, it's worth looking at. It is very, very well done in this particular package especially. So let's just get started. We'll go over to the left and you can see there's some faux carbon fiber, and then here's brushed nickel and the door handle. Here's a door handle. Here is the manual lock for it right there. And then going down here, you can just probably make out that this is a toggle going back and forth for the side mirrors, and then this adjusts them. And then right here, we're looking at, if I can get it to focus, that chrome, shiny chrome is getting in the way. Over here is door locks. Here's the window locks. The front two windows are automatic, the back two are not. Here's how you put them up and down. And then you can see there's some drink holder stuff, and then a whole bunch of buttons. Blind spot management right there on the bottom. Tow mode right there. This does have a pretty good tow rating. Well worth knowing. I didn't get to tow with it, but I have before, and it's very good. Up here is your steering wheel heat, traction control. There's some empty buttons that would be for other things if you had a higher package. You can see it's a manual foot brake, and then this is actually kind of a rubberized dead pedal. Very well placed, I will point out. Although I don't think I would consider this a serious off-road vehicle. It's definitely not a sports car, but it is capable of off-road, so worth saying. All right, now looking at the steering wheel, we'll start on this side. This is basically driver information screens. So, yeah, did I say that right? I did. Driver information screens and a little bit of infotainment. I'll show you the difference. The difference is if you're using this, then you're controlling that driver information screen at the top. If you're just using this, you're actually controlling infotainment right there. Mostly what you control with this are tracks and stations, so you can move back and forth with those. There's a back button right there. Here's volume control. This changes the radio source, so you can change from, well, say Sirius XM to regular FM to AM, etc. Also to streaming options. This is the voice control button. You use this to activate voice control. Worth learning to use that because it is faster than a lot of the on-screen options for, say, touching, touch screen or using the command knob that's in the center of the console. This is for the telephone. You can push it to connect a phone if there is no phone connected. You can also use it to quickly make a phone call and then hang up said phone call. Over here is cruise control stuff. So you turn it on and off right here, basically pushing right here. And then this is the cancel button. This is the set and reset. So you set it and you reset going up. You can also coast to slow down, accelerate, speed up, and then this changes the adaptive distance. So this does have adaptive cruise control. As far as I know, that is pretty much standard across the board for this vehicle. It may not be on the base model, but I'm pretty sure it is because all the safety systems are. So there you go. Anyway, looking at the dongles. Over here you got some washer wiper controls. So up and down for the washer wipers, and back and forth to mist front and back, and then this runs the rear right there, and this controls the speed of the wipers. So that's pretty cool. Over here you got signal turns going up and down, brights going back and forth, and then the rest of your lighting control, you can see what they are right there. Just twisting this. Pretty simple. Now, before we look at the instrument cluster, I want to point out buttons on top of the cluster. So this is your dimmers for that, and then over here, this is your trip. It brings up the trip and then resets if you hold it down. Now, down here, okay, instrument cluster. I'm going to move that driver information screen a little bit. and I'm going to show you some of the options before I get into things. So you can see a lot of the options that are available here. I've been leaving it mostly here, but there's a lot of stuff to look at if that's what you want to see, right? So back on that first menu, there is no back button. It's kind of annoying. So back on that menu, you can see there's a whole bunch of options. You can use now the up and down to change those things. So you can change some of the driver assistance and so on. And then this shows you all your safety stuff. And the rest of it, I think, is pretty self-explanatory. So now over here, you got a tachometer. Down there, you got engine heat. I just started it, so it's still cold. Over here, you got a speedometer that has a very optimistic 160 miles an hour. I think the top speed in this is probably closer to right around where my finger is now, 110 to 120. Down here, you have fuel. So this does pretty good on fuel economy. I was kind of surprised. In fact, fuel economy that I got in my testing was almost exactly what is shown on the Monroney for this. So I'll try to bring up a copy of the Monroney right now. You can see that. I got really close to those numbers. Also found that the price, I just want you to look at this for a minute. The price for what you're getting is really good. This is a great package. Now, going this way, you got a push button start right there. Now, infotainment screen. Not very large, roughly 8 inches. It's, I think, a little smaller than that, but probably 8 inches going the long way. It's a nice interface as far as it goes. This is what you use to manually use it, or you can use it as a touchscreen. So I can go to the apps, I just push this button right here, and you see what's on there. And then I can manually just go and hand select. I can go like that, right? I haven't actually used that, that's why. Anyway, so you can see you can do that, and then I can go back, or I can use this to go through. You see how it's moving through, and then you select like that. Not terribly intuitive right there, but it is available. Phone, climate, audio, all these are pretty obvious what they're going to bring up there. I had it on the map before, like that, because I turned the stereo off, so it defaults to this. So there you go. And then over here, you can see some other things like vehicle settings and so on. Status and settings. And then here, you can, this is nice. Just shut it off because it's nighttime. Turn it back on. It does not turn off the stuff. It just turns off the screen. So kind of neat. Here's a voice activation button if you want to reach for it really quick. Here's the Duke's lights, and there's a back button there. These, the hard buttons are nice, especially these. Otherwise, I've pretty much been ignoring this because honestly, you're not. It's counterintuitive. It's easier to touch the screen than it is to try to use this stuff. You do have to lean forward to touch the screen. I will point that out. So a tall guy like me, I'm going to lean way forward. Just pointing that out. Now, down here, you got your CD player. Kind of a rare thing nowadays to see a CD player. Here's your audio controls. Pretty straightforward. I don't think I need to explain those. You can repeat in random. That's about the only thing that's unusual about any of these buttons. Down here is climate control. So you have dual zone right here, and then you can turn it on and off manually, just pushing this. You can turn the rear on. If you do rear control, then it turns both of these sides into a control for the rear. And then you have the rear defrost and front defrost. Going down here, you can see there's a bunch of USBs. There's a C and a regular, and then down, what is it, USB A or something? Whatever. And then this is rubberized in here, so it's a good spot to throw a phone and stuff. This bun warmers are right here, high and low. Usual Nissan thing, so when you turn it on, it is on, and it stays on until you turn it off. So if you turn it on and you park the car and shut it off, then when you come back and start the car back up, it automatically comes back on again. So that's kind of a neat thing, actually. This is, for all intents and purposes, sport mode. Kind of useless in this, but there you go. You got it. You can use it to hold your RPM a little bit higher if you really need to, but unless you're towing, I don't know that you really need to be doing that. Now, this is your usual drive control, so you just pull it back and select. It does have a low gear, which is nice for going downhill, FYI. Here's your four-wheel drive controls. So this, most of the time, you're just going to leave it in auto. You can put it in two-wheel drive if you know the weather's awesome and it's going to stay awesome. But if it's in auto, it's mostly going to default to two-wheel drive anyway for efficiency, and then you can lock it by twisting like that, and you get a little thing on your screen that says you're now locked in 4-wheel drive. So you just do that, and then when you switch it off like that, it goes away. Hill descent control is right here. Kind of useful in this, especially if you're towing or if you're off-road trying to go up and down, because the CVT does not add a lot of resistance for modulate to use the transmission to modulate. So right here is the drink holders. You can see the bottom part pulls out, so you can pull this out, clean it, and put it back. Kind of useful. Good sized drink holders. Here is your armrest. I like this armrest. It's a good, big, bulky thing, feels really good. And then you can see you have separate opening options. So you can open just the upper, and you can throw some things in there, USBs and whatever, and you can see there's a cord pass-through on both sides to run a cord down. And when you do that, you can run it down to either the audio or the USBs that are down here. They're both USB A's. And then you have a 12 volt. So there's a second 12 volt. There was also one up there if you didn't notice it. And this storage tray. You can throw some things in here, throw some things up there. Nice little storage bin. Good size. I really like this though. It feels good. It's exactly right. I love this cloth seating. So it's cloth with leather on the edges. This feels really good. It feels extremely sturdy, and you don't slip much at all. It's very, very well done. And then the dash is kind of blasé. So you can see it's just kind of not a lot there, plain plastic. It is a little bit soft. It's hard, but slightly soft. It does a good job with road noise. I will say that. But the two-tone interior is great. You see how that goes up like that? Really nice looking, and just a decent look. The orange stitching really pops in this package. So there's the back seat. There's a third row that's very small. It's mostly for kids. And then I'll show you what the back of the car looks like. And then here you go. I'll put one of the seats up. You can see what that looks like. There you go. So a very good package for the money being spent. I really like this overall build for this vehicle. So there you go. That's what I got. This has been Aaron on autos.com. We're sitting in the 2020 Nissan Pathfinder in the Rock Creek edition. Talk to you again soon. Subscribe.